Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Sit Stay Rant, where we are unleashing the real mess behind rescue. This is Amy, and I'm here with three of my dear friends.
Emily,
Tiffany, and Gabby.
Don't forget, Gabby is looking for a man, so keep that in mind. We are going to do something different today. Bear with us. We are on TikTok Live because that's what all the cool kids are doing. We're sending hearts to each other. And I am going to send any questions to the group that you guys want us to answer about what the hell we're doing on a daily basis, or any questions you have at all.
any questions?
I do need my glasses. So
Are we supposed to be on the live
I'm
too?
so happy to see
I got on the live
everybody.
as Sit Stay Rant is on the live.
137 viewers already.
The guy from Dunkin' Donuts has not been giving me anything recently.
Someone
He
asked
actually
will be their mom. I love
well,
that.
I want to be a mom. Does anyone need? Oh, stop! Can I be your mom? I want to be your mom.
You did dream that you were pregnant, so you may have a new child.
maybe.
I did. I had a dream that I was 8 months pregnant, and I really wanted to have the baby. So I want to be a mom to any of you who need a mom. This is exciting. All right, someone asked the question, how many dogs do we have at a given time? So Tiffany, tell us how many dogs we have in the rescue at a given time.
The highest number?
And then I can say what I have like at my place.
The highest number we've had
Well, how many do we have right now?
Right now we only have about 40.
Not many. Yeah.
So we've been very successful.
We only have 40.
No, only have 40.
Yeah.
My husband did not agree to the name Duncan, by the way.
First of all,
of my new baby. All right, we have 40 dogs right now.
Not even 2 months ago, we had 120.
120? Jeez, I should probably not be surprised by that. And
And I
yes,
think we're getting
and yet I am.
Yeah, we'll be getting more though.
We're getting a shipment.
Yeah.
And then
You should have seen my girl math calculations. Well, if we add this one, that's this many. And if we add this one, but we don't take this one, then it's this many.
Thank God you're on the ball, because I don't know what's going on 98% of the time.
I just send you pictures and you say yes or no.
Yeah, I'm the easiest person to convince.
Somebody
to do
said
anything.
okay, I'll take 100. All right.
Yes, we can do that. That's why I would be a good mom to you guys, because I
would
will
just
say
say yes.
yes. I come from a place of yes.
Always.
So I personally have at this moment, I think I have 17 fosters, which is
Give or take.
bit more than I normally have. I like to stay kind of around 10 to 12, but what the hell? Life is short. We're just going with it. Someone asked, how do you start a rescue? And that is a really good question. And I'm honestly not totally sure, because I didn't start Canine. None of us on this chat started Canine. It was already in existence. We took a really, really tiny rescue that was started 20 years ago, and we've grown it, but we didn't actually start it. It is kind of a pain in the ass, because you have to have your 501c3 paperwork, and you got to do all the blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. But I think for us, it was maybe easier because we had a little bit of a framework when we all got involved. Would you guys say?
Yep.
That's the
Yep.
case?
Yep.
Okay.
The roots had already been kind of taken set in already. But so we had a question about the Frenchies. How are they doing?
One is adopted. The one
Frenchie adopted.
Yes.
By the way, we never heard back from the shitty breeder who dumped them. Like, he never asked how they're doing or anything like that.
Of course not.
So yeah.
And
look at me doing a live. I know.
And then there's also
excited.
a question. There was also a question about do we use Shelter Love? And the answer is yes, we do.
100%. Please
we use Shelter Love. Yes,
every day.
Let me tell you
love
guys, them. When I first came on board, the first year, it was like, I don't know. Well, I think the first year of the rescue was 4 dogs, which is crazy. We had no system. So do not follow this example, because look, I have a hat on and a mustache. do not follow this example. We were using like paper contracts. We did not have a system. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So thank
Google.
God we got with the times and now use a program called Shelter Love, which keeps everything straight so we can go back and look and see when was a dog adopted, what's their medical care, any notes on the file, that kind of thing. But yeah, before that, I hate to say we were not very well organized. I think a lot of people like the idea of starting a rescue, but they don't necessarily have the skills to make it work. Like that, it's not enough to just have like a big heart or care about animals. Like you have to be able to do the fundraising and the accounting and keeping track of appointments and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of logistics that I think maybe people don't think about. It's not just hanging out with the dogs. There's a lot of that, but it's not just that.
There's a lot of paperwork.
And somebody asked what Shelter Love is. Who wants to describe Shelter Love?
It is an online platform where you can keep track of dogs, keep track of their medical care. You can run a report and it'll find if somebody needs shots, somebody needs a spay or neuter. We can keep adopters' information in there, microchip numbers. If we have a weird number, my favorite part is if you had a weird number text you, you can be like, oh, are you an adopter? Put their number in and be like, oh, it's this person. Because we don't have enough storage to keep everybody's info in there. So it's a really awesome
I
software.
like that about Shelter Love because if I get a phone
Yeah.
call, which instantly pisses me off, because don't call me. Don't ever call me.
I have
Then I
zero.
can go in and look and see who the hell is calling me, and it helps me to prepare.
So
And
we don't. Somebody asked it to bring Roscoe on. I don't think we have him available today, but we do have Angie, right?
This is Angie, and that's Dumpling.
And this is
Yep.
Dumpling.
Yeah, we do try to bring a couple dogs on the podcast. Roscoe has been with me now, I think about 9 or 10 months. He, for anyone who doesn't know, is a 12-year-old basset hound. His owner went into assisted living. She couldn't take him with her. Tiffany actually found Roscoe.
And I didn't even think we
And
were going to get him, honestly. I was
yeah,
like,
we drove to get him and it was just like a crazy, it made no sense on paper to do this, but I do love Roscoe and he's doing great.
somebody
His
asked,
eyes look bad, like he's got kind of cataracts and stuff. He's basically blind, but he doesn't care.
somebody asked how many dogs we get in monthly. Depending on the time of year, because usually winter times are slow for adoptions, anywhere from 60 to 100 dogs per month can come into the rescue very easily. So it's a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy. We are crazy. That's not normal.
We're looking at 100 this month.
Oh my
Nobody had
gosh.
to hear that.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know, we're pulling 50 dogs in October. So let me tell this quick story. A dear friend of mine named Kristen started something called What's Your 50 when she turned 50. And she wanted to encourage people to give back to the community in quantities of 50. It was sort of like a measurable, concrete way to help. So it might be like get 50 bags of dog food for the shelter or 50 packs of diapers for the diaper bank or something like that. So she is now battling triple negative breast cancer. So we decided for October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we would do What's Your 50 dogs in honor of Kristen and everyone battling breast cancer. And all of the dogs are shades of pink, right? Like their names are going to be shades of pink.
Yep.
And they're all coming in. I think it's like the 25th of, is it the 25th?
Yep, the 25th.
It is, but the number has increased very quickly.
50
Okay, it was
double.
50, now it's 100. I don't know.
The girl math is mathing, so we'll leave it at
Listen,
that for
I
now.
was an English major. I don't do math, so just tell me what I need to do and I'm going to go with it. I don't
Just
care.
say yes.
So we have
I
another
don't care.
question that I think is a really interesting one. How do you help a dog get adopted who does not show well?
Oh, that's a great
Yeah, I thought that was a very good question.
Thank you. Yeah, we were talking about this the other day. I need to do an update on this dog on TikTok. So we had a dog named Wonton, and Tiffany was the hero in this story because she came up with a really clever post where she kind of leaned into the fact that Wonton showed terribly. Like
And
he
he
would
was
just sit in
awful.
the corner stare at the wall. Like, he's not going to interact with you. He's not going to look at you. There's zero chance he's going to jump in your lap. So it's like, who's going to want this dog? This is terrible. And we would prepare people and say, it's not going to go well. And people would not, I think, maybe not believe us. So Tiffany made this post on Facebook where she basically just like played up the fact that he was going to show terribly and made it really funny. And it got a huge amount of comments. And it ended up being a family came over to meet him, and I had zero expectations. And I said, I'm going to leave you guys alone. I always feel like a realtor. You know, I'm like, let me give you some time with the dog and then come back and let me know what you think. So I said, I'm going to leave you alone. I went in the house, zero expectations. I said, he will be in the same position when I come back as he's in now, which is in the corner staring at the wall. And sure enough, I go back in. He hadn't moved at all. And I thought the people were going to say, absolutely not. And the woman said, we love him. We'll take him. And
Aw.
they were willing to, maybe it is like back to my house analogy, my realtor analogy, like looking at a house that's a fixer upper and you kind of imagine what it might be like. So they just sent me an update of him and he's doing extremely well. But that is a great question because it is a challenge for dogs that don't show well. And
I
you need
think
to have a special kind of adopter who's going to see past the current behavior to see the potential. It's
and I
definitely
think
really hard.
yeah, and then also you can it's not you want to be really transparent with the adopter. You know, like if there's a dog that has an issue, you don't want to necessarily hide that. But I think also setting them up for success. So if you have a very agitated dog who doesn't do well in crowds, you're not going to take them to an event, for
Yeah, that's a
example, to
good
have them
point.
show there, you know,
Yeah,
and so so I think that it's just creating the environment where they can be their best selves, right? So
that's a good point. Yeah, and we do think about that. Like when we do meet and greets, we'll try to say, what's the best way to show this dog? Like some dogs are going to be better when they're with the whole crew. Some dogs, it's like, no, we need to separate this dog out and have like a more quiet spot for the meet and greet. So that's a good point.
let's see here.
Somebody
What else?
asked, are we a
think
rescue or a foster?
Wait, hang on. Gabby wanted to say something.
I think also it's great when you can get good video or pictures, like, in the foster setting, not I mean, we try to get our fosters to send us good pictures and videos, but, you know.
It's a
It's a really
challenge.
I think it's a really good point, Gabby, because you know if you can't have nothing to show,
Yeah.
yeah. And then what there's a question, Tiffany, that you said.
Somebody asked if we are a rescue or a foster. So we are a foster based rescue. So that means we don't have a physical facility. Everybody who fosters with us are bringing dogs into their personal homes, which can be complex because not every dog is used to living indoors. Some of these dogs have lived on the streets. So we try to best match them with people who can understand them. But nope, we don't have a physical facility.
Yeah. And we don't take dogs sometimes I think people confuse the word foster with the idea that we would foster for a little bit and then they would get a dog back. You know, as for example, if somebody surrendered their dog, they've surrendered it. It'll be adopted out. The foster is only the you know, the temporary housing for the dog before it goes on to its next home. When we use the word foster, we don't mean you need somebody to watch the dog for 3 months or you're unable to care for the dog but want it back. That is not something that we do.
We do sometimes get those requests though, where
Yeah.
someone will say like, oh, I'm losing my housing. I need to go to a new place. I need a place to put the dog for a couple of months. We don't really do that. And the reason is it's not that we don't want to help. It's too messy. Like it's too much of a liability issue because then it's like, well, what if the dog gets sick? What if the dog bites someone? Like under whose umbrella is this dog? It's kind of in limbo. So it's really easier from a like just a legal standpoint and a responsibility standpoint to have it be a clean thing. Only dogs that are legally and officially the rescues are with our fosters. We don't provide that short-term fostering, kind of like free boarding, being honest, so that you can then get your dog back. It's just too complicated. We've tried it a couple times and I feel like it usually falls apart.
Yeah, and then they end up not coming back or
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Somebody asked you, how many times have you foster failed, Amy?
Oh, you're gonna be shocked at the answer. It's 1. It is 1 time. I have, a really good record, unlike some of the people on this chat.
I don't have
I
any.
don't know what you're
I'm
talking
looking at one of
about.
you in particular. Yeah, I only failed once, and this was with my current dog, who is terrible. Her name is Dobby. She has very few redeeming qualities. She's ugly, objectively ugly, and has a not great personality. She came in from a hoarding case 2 years ago with another little dog, and they were such a mess that no one could even get near them for I don't even know how long. Fast forward 2 years, Dobby kind of decided she wanted to live in my house, and I just said, all right. So I didn't intend to adopt her, but she made it clear that she wanted to live with me. And then the other little dog that that came with her is named Claire, and she still lives out in the rescue. I would happily have Claire as my personal dog as well. I kind of think of her as my other personal dog, but we do have a fenced in area where the rescue dogs are, but around my house there are gaps in the fence that Claire will absolutely escape if she's on the other side of the rescue, like if she's on the house side versus the rescue side. And I just can't have her running loose. It's Dobby won't go anywhere, but Claire will take off. So Claire needs to be secured in the rescue. It's the safest place for her. But I guess she's kind of like a second fail in a way.
in Roscoe. Yeah.
And Roscoe kind of, yeah.
Mhm. So, 2 questions I think are interesting. One was, a lot of people are requesting to see Dobby. So I'll just say
Oh,
that, but maybe at a
you
different
may
image.
regret that, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to
And
to
then
bring her in.
You gotta catch
and then
it.
the other
It's
thing is,
not good.
people are asking, I guess, spouse, I'll use the word spouse, how many dogs have we hidden from spouses?
Oh my God, countless.
I do not.
So fucking many. My husband has no idea what's happening in my life.
He prefers
Like
it not.
he has no idea about any of this. Well, one of the things that started me on TikTok, and by the way, this is so fun. Thank you guys for being on this journey with us. This is super fun. So one of the things that I talked about when I first got on TikTok, which I did, by the way, just to embarrass my kids, I snuck a kitten into my house, and I wanted to see how long it was before my husband of 28 years would notice. And the kitten was with us for months, and he had no idea. And then we moved to our current house, and I was like, oh shit, I got to figure out how to get this kitten to the new house. He still had no idea. It was when the movers were taking stuff out of the room where the kitten had been for months that one of the movers said to my husband, like, are you going to get the cat out? And he was like, what are you talking about? Had no idea. And that's just one of many stories. Like, I think my husband maybe knows more that he lets on, but he's generally like given up a long time ago.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say mine doesn't really. I mean, he enjoys it. Rob likes it. I do sometimes wait to tell him we're fostering until the dog's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
What are you going
when
to
we
do?
already have a
Kick him
lot,
out?
but right, exactly.
So the thing for those of us who've been married for a while, like me and Emily, like you're not going to divorce us.
Yeah,
Do you know
we're
what I
not going
mean? There's a lot
anywhere.
of
Yeah,
paperwork. It's
right.
expensive. You're not. So
Exactly. And
yeah,
I always say, like, I'm like, you know what? I haven't started in wildlife yet. That's a plus.
exactly.
Like we're
Exactly. It's
not
a
even
huge
close to where we
plus.
could go.
No,
We could go
Right.
so far with this. There's no raccoons. There's no squirrels yet.
I hope and would like that,
I would like that
just
too.
so you
I
know.
would like to like that. I would like
Well,
that too.
I will say that my experience with Tiffany and her wife, Kim, we should all have a Kim in our lives. Like
Yes,
the
yes, we
most
should.
tolerant, loving person you've ever met. And she'll drop everything. Oh, we're going to the shelter. All right. Oh, we're doing this. Okay. Yeah. She's
left
amazing.
work to pick up dogs from
She's
the
left
shelter.
work.
Yeah,
She's-
exactly. She was.
Yeah.
Did I tell
Kim's
you what
amazing.
I said to her today? I said, we can either take 2 puppies that are coming on the 18th or 1 puppy that's coming on the 25th. And I sent the pictures and I said, which one should we take? Because I'll find fosters for the others. She's like, Can we just take them all?
Oh,
Aw.
see,
See, there you
I need to
go.
be a lesbian. That's the way to go. I'm telling you.
Aw,
So
here we go.
somebody asked, do we follow Mouse's journey? Mouse is actually adopted by one of our volunteers, so we
Yeah,
get
so we get to
Yeah.
hear about Mouse all
all
the
the time.
time.
Yeah, Amanda adopted Mouse, one of my favorite adoption stories. He was such a weird mess, and I made a TikTok about him where I was just sort of like poking fun at him, talking about, how weird he was. And then Amanda, I didn't know her at the time, but she reached out about Mouse, and I thought, oh my God, there's no way she's going to adopt this dog. And I hope to God she doesn't see the TikTok. And then she's like, no, I'm reaching out because of the TikTok. I want a really weird dog. And she showed up and he was like trying to bite everyone. And she's like, not phased at all. I'll take him. And he's doing really well with
Yeah.
her.
This is
Amanda's the kind of person who will see past a lot of things and she will take a dog that is really kind of weird and has a lot of quirks. Some people will.
this is another really good one. Someone asked, how do you choose which dogs to pull from the shelter?
Great question.
And that's a tough question.
It's so hard. It's so
It's hard because we know that in saying no, the dog may not make it out alive. I mean, it's not necessarily on our backs alone, but we are aware of how high the stakes are. So it's hard to say no. And I think that's something that we do pretty well. We talk about this a lot. We focus on dogs that we feel we can get adopted. That's our goal. And so we will, of course, take some dogs that are a little more challenging. We do take some medical cases. I think we're pretty open about that kind of thing. Like we'll take heartworm positive dogs a lot of times. We're not just looking for perfect dogs. We are looking for dogs that we think we can get adopted. And we also look at who do we have right now? Like, for example, if we have a bunch of hound dogs or black dogs or scruffy dogs or whatever, we're probably not going to pool a bunch more, especially if those dogs aren't getting a lot of interest. So I think that's something we do pretty well. Tiffany, you're like our main dog pooler, and I think you do a great job
Some of
finding
us
like
on this
unique
podcast
dogs.
have a hard time saying no.
Yeah.
I don't do it because I can't.
We don't let Emily do it.
I don't
She's
there's
not.
no way.
No,
Like, I'm
she
looking
cannot
this
be
morning,
trusted.
I was looking, I'm like, "Oh, there's 20 dogs at the show. Let's just go. Let's just go
Let's just
over.
get them all.
Let's just
Yeah.
go over. I'll put them somewhere in here." But,
Well,
yeah, no, it's, we actually had got another really interesting question, I thought, and it's a good one. They want an update on Beethoven and what happened.
Yes.
Yes.
So Beethoven, you may remember, was a probably like a 9 or 10 week old puppy, maybe a little older. He got adopted. They paid the adoption fee with their credit card through Shelter Love. It went through, everything was fine. And then 4 or so days later, they disputed the charge. And we're like, what the hell? And so we went back to Shelter Love and said, I don't know why they're disputing it because we have the adoption contract and it's obviously a legitimate thing. And the people ghosted us. Emily happened to be close to where they lived. So she went over there and you can tell that part.
Right. So I went over there and I went to the house. We needed to chip the dog anyway, so I had a chip with me to be able to do that. We hadn't done that yet. And I asked, I knocked on the door. They were surprised to see me, and I said, I'm with the rescue. We've been trying to get in touch with you, which we had. We had sent emails and we had sent texts and we had phone calls. And I said, we were trying to get in touch with you and we've had a hard time. We just want to see if we can chip the dog for you. And their response was that they really, they were gonna have the vet do it, and I'm like, "Well, it's free, and I'm here. It's part of
Yeah,
the
I'm right
adoption
here.
fee. Like, we're just gonna
Right.
do it." And then, yeah, I think then I said, "Well, they said no," and I said, "Okay, well, the adoption fee, can we work that out?" And she said that she had had her credit card stolen, and that it wasn't, that they were all of the charges from a certain day. I think it was from September 3rd on were
Okay. Let me
Canceled.
stop you for a
Yeah,
second because that
exactly.
doesn't make sense to me, right?
No.
We actually
No.
recently had our credit card compromised and we're working with this stupid bank about it. But I had to go through all of the charges and
Right.
say yes or no.
Right.
So
It makes
why
no sense.
why exactly? It makes no sense. You don't cancel all the charges. You say this is legit, this isn't. So that
And
was very sketchy. And then when they said to you, "Hey, we'll write a check, but
we'll write a
not
check
right
this
now."
week. Right. Like on
Yeah.
Monday, we'll write a check. And then they wouldn't. Yeah. And so then, yeah. So we never got that check. And
Right. Deadline
then
came and went.
several times. We had
Yeah,
several
several
deadlines,
deadlines.
yeah,
Yep.
over 3 weeks or something. And then you can pick it up, Amy, on what happened next.
So, one of our other volunteers, he's our only guy on the team. If there's any guys who want to volunteer, also Gabby's looking for a man.
We're
So,
always
JR is the guy, and we love him. And so he said, you know what? Let me take a crack at it. I'll call him. And I said, I'm just managing expectations. Like, I don't think you're going to get a response because they weren't answering any of us. And I was also playing, which I hate to do, but I was playing the rescue president card, kind of playing hardball a little bit. That didn't seem to have any impact. JR said, I'll call him. And he called them. And shockingly, the woman answered. And he said, hey, this adoption is not complete. You did not pay the adoption fee. The dog, therefore, is still legally the rescue's. What are we doing? And to his surprise, she said, I want to return the dog. Didn't argue, didn't try to explain or anything. And so then they arranged a time. JR went over to their place, got the dog. He said it was very matter of fact. She didn't seem particularly emotional. But they had purchased a lot of stuff for the dog. So that was kind of
Yeah.
interesting. The dog looked fine. There weren't any concerns about the dog's health or anything like that. But she just sort of handed the dog off. And that's when we said we're going to change its name from Beethoven to Repo. And now he's back in our care and we'll get him adopted again. But it was weird because this person never acknowledged the runaround, which I don't understand that. How can people not say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that I ghosted you and I told you this and I told you that? Like, no acknowledgement of that. It was just, okay, here's the dog back.
That's why I think it's a little sketchy.
I think it's a little sketchy too. Do you think that they intended like to try to get out of it from the beginning, or maybe
it was like a
money was
trial. Like they
tight?
wanted a puppy for a little bit, and then like, all right, never mind.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm just absolutely
This
I'm
is
kind of
enough-
stumped by it. I don't know
Yeah, it
what
was
their
weird.
goal was. So their goal was they had a goal early on though, right? That dispute was, by the way, they won their dispute.
Yeah, that was so weird too. Shelter Love found in their favor. I was like, what do you mean you found in their favor?
have the
We have
dog.
an assigned adoption contract. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Another good question is, why do rescues take dogs from shelters?
Oh.
Great question. And let me say this before we get into that. And thank you guys for being here. I love this. A lot of people are confused between a shelter and a rescue. So a shelter, or what we kind of used to refer to as like the pound, the county facility, those are usually the government run facilities, like your local shelter that gets government funding and they are paid employees. I mean, they have volunteers, but they have like a paid staff and all that kind of stuff. Rescues like ours are private, which means we can apply for grants, but we are responsible for all of our own fundraising. We don't get any money from the government. We don't have any paid staff. We're all volunteers. So there's a difference between what a rescue and a shelter is. But yeah, who wants to field that one?
Tiff?
So the reason why we take in dogs from shelters, not just us, just any rescue, is shelters don't have space. If they can only hold 100 dogs, just bare minimum 100 dogs, they can have an intake in one day of 100 dogs. So where are the dogs going to go? So it's just standing there with, say, 200 plus dogs and 100 kennels. You can't shove them all together. So there is rescue coordinators at shelters who reach out to rescues everywhere and ask, "Can you take this dog?" They'll post emails to different rescues in our network on Facebook. Some of them text us personally and just ask, "Do you
A
have?"
lot of them do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have to ever go looking for dogs.
Yeah.
Some of the local dogs, we'll scroll Facebook and we'll see that they're over capacity. They're pleading like this dog has until 6 p.m. to leave the shelter, and we'll be like, "All right, let's go. We have room." And again, we can only take dogs. We have somewhere for them to go.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
say there's somebody like me or Emily can take a behavioral challenging dog. Amy has a setup where she can take multiple small dogs, even puppies, just, get along with everybody.
Yeah.
Not
And,
too
and or dogs that are shut down tend to do well with me.
And you have the space to take multiple ones. Like, I think your fenced in yard is like 10,000 square feet approximately. So there's plenty of space for everybody. And Gabby, you do a lot of work with dog care, so you can only take dogs when you're not working. So we have to look at, is there a foster for this dog? If it's a dog that can't be with other dogs, we don't have a lot of people that can handle that. Uh,
Yeah.
if the dogs can't do children, that again cuts it down. So these dogs can't sit in a shelter and show well because too many times a dog has been deemed aggressive or scared. And as soon as they get out of that kennel, completely different dog.
Yeah.
And a lot of
True.
the shelter workers know that. And they're like, this dog needs a chance. Like, please come take this dog. And so
Yeah.
they'll reach out to rescues and say, look, this dog is X, Y, and Z. This dog needs to get out. A lot
Yeah.
of people will come grab the adoptable dogs very quickly. And then there's dogs that are actually aggressive and don't get adopted, and they have to take up that kennel space, and that is very few kennels. So,
Yeah, and if they get like a hoarding case, the county shelters have to deal with that. They don't have a choice. So they got to figure out, we have 100 new dogs. Where are they going to go? So they might reach out to us to say, can you take, some of our existing dogs? And then to your point, Tiff, like there's not a lot of dogs that do well in a shelter setting, like where you see the best of them. So, sometimes there are dogs that are just super happy go lucky, but it's very rare. So that's a challenge too. You want the public to consider these dogs, but they're not going to necessarily show well. And you might be seeing behavior, whether it's they seem kind of aggressive or really shut down, that may not be indicative of their actual personality. So if the shelters can get some of them out and into foster homes where it's more of a home setting and they're living kind of with a family, you're probably going to get a better sense of what that dog is actually like.
and a lot of them have time limits. So, if they can come into rescue, there's some dogs we can keep up to a year, and at the shelter, that's not an option.
Yeah,
Some
that's
of them
true.
some of them get 72 hours.
Yeah.
So, they need the dogs to get out so they can have a better life, and that's where we step in.
That's a good point, Tiff. Like some of my current fosters, so I mentioned Claire, this little Chihuahua mix, been with me 2 years. She's lovely. She's really sweet. She just kind of hangs at the edge of the world. Like she's never gonna jump in my lap. It's just never gonna be like that.
Never say
Um,
never.
well, I guess that's
We
true.
we
But she's
she may
also
be
she's no trouble and she seems happy. But like she couldn't be in a shelter. Also, I don't think they would have kept her for 2 years. So it's like she's just gonna live with me. And then I have the Pomeranians that I've talked a little bit about. They have collapsed tracheas. The one dog, his name is Aaron. He also has alopecia. And it's like, are they going to get adopted? They certainly wouldn't do well in a shelter.
I mean,
Right.
and people think a lot of the times puppies get adopted fast. I personally have a puppy that has been with me since 6 weeks old, and he's now 6 months old, and he's just grown up in foster care, and it's not really anything he's doing wrong. So people say that puppies won't be, you know, finished in shelters. You got to watch what you say on here, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
puppies
Yeah.
won't always make it out of the shelters, and puppies don't always get adopted first. There's
It's
plenty of
true.
mom dogs that we get that the moms are adopted before the babies.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so true. I mean, Dumpling right here is really close to being adopted, and her puppies aren't. And The uh
Hey, Em, while we're on a little tiny break, can you text Vanessa that they're here with the dog?
yeah. Yeah.
So we're actually getting a dog right now, real time. His name is Benny. He looks like a little Maltese in the pictures. Apparently, he hates kids. And, I kind of do too. So he can hang with me.
Fine.
Yeah, he ended up in the shelter because he didn't like the kids in his house.
Someone asked if we have the
And I
merch.
told her that they're there.
Thank you.
Everybody sees your hoodie and everybody asking if we have the merch, and we do. If you send us an email, caninerescueinc@gmail.com.
Also, if anyone wants to be on the podcast, send us an email. We would love to have you.
Yes. And I just want to take this moment to say if you could come follow us on Spotify, Apple, it says Stay Rant. We would love to have you follow us
And give us suggestions of what you want to hear.
on the
Definitely.
podcast.
And so we also have another question is, do we rescue pit bulls and are they a problem? We actually have quite a few pit bulls in the rescue and pit mixes. Our list of incoming dogs for the What's Your 50, there's a lot of pit mixes on there. There's actually one, Mr. Dave. He is a big, luscious, wrinkly pocket bully, and I can't wait to meet him. So we do take pit bulls. A lot of rescues will not. Um, as many people know, that pit bulls can be deemed problematic, and that's not always the case. Um, it's just a misunderstood breed. And I think since I've been with the rescue, we've only had one complicated pit, and it's the one that I adopted. It does happen. And I feel like she would have taken a long time to find a home and it would have been out there, but she wasn't going anywhere. So we do take pits.
And then we did get another question here about, oh my gosh. There was a question about how do we not keep them all?
Oh,
Hear that a lot.
We do. We all hear that a lot.
Foster Stacy is on here, and then we're talking about pits. She said, "I foster failed Pumpkin the pit." Yes, I
Stacy. Oh my gosh, I just saw
Stacy.
Stacy.
She's currently fostering puppies for us.
Yeah, Stacy's awesome. To answer that question, like how do we not keep them all? It's a really genuine question, and we do hear that a lot. I'd love to hear what you guys each say. For me, I tend to answer some kind of the same thing. If I start keeping them, I cannot keep helping them.
Yeah.
I don't want to end up in a situation where I've got all these personal dogs that, I'm overwhelmed with that. I also need to keep my personal pets. So I have Dobby, my little ugly chihuahua. I have three cats, and a bird. I have to keep my personal pets manageable because I'm doing so much with the rescue. So like it would be a lot if I had a bunch of personal dogs, for me. So I tend to want to keep that balance. But for me, it's just, I need to let them go so I can keep helping.
I think that sometimes, we're not even the best homes for some of our fosters, right? I mean, for some of our fosters, I mean, that we're not the best house, and they need to find a home that they can be their best selves in. I mean, they're safe, they're happy, they're enjoying themselves, but if we weren't able to let go, we would be depriving them of a really great life that they could have.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one right here is doing fine here, and she's with her puppies right now, but she's probably better off in a house that's a little quieter than my house, actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in all different kinds of personalities.
Yeah, for sure. What do you guys say, Gab and Tiff? Do you want to keep them all?
If we keep them, we can't keep saving them.
My dogs that I have now, I have not gone looking to adopt a dog. My fosters, now resident dogs, are dogs that either tried a different home and got returned, or just weren't good dogs to be adopted out, whether it's behavioral issues, separation anxiety, don't like other dogs, fearful of people. So I kind of just was like, I feel like if they're not going to find a home, they can stay here. Like a lot of dogs. Like I have Mama June right now. She is an amazing. I think the breed DNA was Boxer Mastiff. She had severe heartworm. She has gone through all of her treatments. Great dog, super great. I thought she would be like adopted by now. Like the heartworm is cleared up. Hopefully, we're still waiting on some tests. Um,
That would be amazing.
she's
We didn't
housebroken.
even know if she was
No,
gonna survive.
no, she was very sick, and like the vets said, like, we're gonna do this, but I want you to know going into this dog might not make it. And I was like, well, what are the odds if we don't do anything? She's not gonna make it. And I was like, well, we're gonna do something then.
Right.
So she's a dog that I thought was gonna get adopted by now, and she's still here, and she's super great dog, scared of men, but not all men. Like she loves the vets. Shocking. But she's kind of just here, and that's kind of okay. You just live here, it's fine. They all get along. So I wouldn't call it a foster fail. It's just like, I'll just be your foster home until if you ever move on. But that's fine with
Yeah.
me.
Right.
Someone asked if we get a lot of adoptions from my TikToks, and we do get some people who reach out, we're in Maryland, so people who are in the general area, and I love that. I always love to meet people through TikTok. So sometimes people reach out. And actually, you guys may remember the dog King. His owner was deported and he came to us, and I did a TikTok about that. And this woman in Chicago in that area found the TikTok and she wanted to adopt him. So we were able to figure out, with the help of the TikTok community, we were able to raise enough money to get him on a transport to where this person is. So that was definitely a direct TikTok thing, which was cool. And he's doing great. And he has his own account.
Yep. So what other questions do we have?
Someone
We had
if
Oh, go
they
ahead.
if we do out of state adoptions, and we do.
do.
Yeah, when I first started with the rescue, we didn't do out of state adoptions, and I never understood that. I mean, I feel like if you can get to us, absolutely, it's not a problem at all. Or if it's a special case, we can maybe figure out transport. We can put the word out and try to get a dog to someone. So I just want to get as many adoptions as we can, and I don't see why we would limit it. But we used to not allow it, so I'm glad that we do now.
Yeah, someone from Maine drove all the way down here to get
Yeah.
one of the tiny Sh Shetland sheepdogs, like they were
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
puppies or something.
Now we did have someone, God bless this person, reach out and say, I would love to foster with you. I'm in Seattle, Washington, and we're in Maryland. I was like, it would be lovely, but I just don't see it working.
You can live pretty much anywhere if you're willing to come to us and adopt a dog.
Exactly.
We are
Yeah. If
open.
you want to come to us, by
We
all
won't offer
means.
transport. For King's situation, it was like the stars aligning
Yeah,
that
that was great.
transport that we use
You know,
was bringing dogs to us. And ironically, the following weekend was going to Chicago. So I was like, can this dog hitch a ride with you guys?
That was very
So
cool.
and that doesn't always happen. That was just like a weird coincidence that I looked at her schedule and I was like, wait a minute, that's like the perfect thing. So she kept him for a week and took him up to Chicago, and it was awesome. It
I
was
think also if it's a dog that is maybe a little bit harder to find a home for,
yeah,
we can definitely jump through some hoops if someone is willing to give a dog a chance and maybe doesn't live that close. We can always put out the word and figure something out. I feel like people come together when we need them.
we've
Yeah,
had people.
anyone
Go ahead.
if anyone is watching or on our TikTok wants one of our longer term residents, we are happy to pull some strings.
We have
Absolutely. We'll make it work.
that are willing to drive at no cost to us. We have people that are willing. It was very cool. Last weekend, we had somebody fly their private plane, a small aircraft, and bring dogs to us for free. They were just like,
That's
"We'll do it."
crazy.
But there are some people out here that really wanna see, like, longer resident dogs get adopted, so they're willing to put their time in and at their expense, and that does not
So, just in case anyone was wondering, I'm a fearful flyer, but
Are
if
you?
I
Really?
had yes, but if I had a private jet, I feel like I would be more comfortable.
I would.
Someone
I'd
get
be like, "It's
someone
relaxing.
get her a
Yeah.
private jet.
There's not people sitting right next to me, it's fine."
So if there's no one sitting next to me, I can do almost anything.
Someone asks they live in Alexandria, Virginia, and they're asking if they can foster with us.
Yeah. Northern
Yes.
Virginia in the
Yes.
house.
I also have a question here, and I'm trying to actually find out the question. Maybe they can ask again. It is, um, I'm in New Jersey. This is Foster Pup Chronicles. I'm in New Jersey with,
I
oh,
wish, I
we had a
wish
question. We had a question asking if we have any Great Danes or Mastiffs.
wish we did. I
Not
love a
at the
cute
moment, but we do
dog.
sometimes get them. And actually, I was talking recently about this dog that we got from one of our shelter partners, and I was told that it was a Basset Hound mix, which is my favorite. So I said yes. The dog showed up, absolutely zero Basset. I was
There
totally
was
dogfish.
full-size legs.
Oh my gosh, full size legs, not long ears. I mean, regular ears. So I was disappointed, but the dog ended up getting adopted and we did DNA on that dog. And of course, there was no Basset, but the number one breed in that dog was the Doggo Argentina. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
It's
they're
like
you
isn't
don't see
that's a
them
type of
often.
Mastiff, right?
It's in the Italian Mastiff family, yeah.
Okay. All
You
right.
don't see
So
them
we do
often.
sometimes see the bigger ones.
And the Beau, who was, I guess, like a Cane Corso, but they're also a type of
Oh,
Mastiff.
that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, we had Bo. He was like, what was he like, 5 months or
6 or 7 months,
six
yeah.
or
6 or 7 months.
seven months?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually got adopted. Going back to what we were saying, does TikTok help with adoptions? He actually got adopted by Erica and Morgan, who are pretty big influencers on TikTok, and they live in Texas, but they drove all the way to Maryland to get him.
They bought
And they show they
Yeah.
chronicle his life on their TikTok.
Yeah. So
So,
that's very cool.
yep,
So if anyone sees a dog that they like, reach out. You never know. We'll do our best to
absolutely.
make it work.
Absolutely. So we did have another question, and maybe I'm going to ask our behind the scenes producers here from Nicholas. Did anybody see there was a question there about lifestyle, and I didn't see it. Maybe it's
There was
Oh
just
my gosh, wait. What was the weirdest dog combo you've ever seen? I love Mr. Potato Head dogs. One
well,
of the
do you
weirdest for
remember
me was sorry, go ahead, Gabs.
well, you had her. Her name was Teresa.
yes,
Oh
Oh,
my
the
gosh.
That was like
strangest
almost
Teresa
dog.
was so fucking weird. She was
Oh my
so
gosh.
long. I swear to God, she was like 4 feet long. She had no legs. She had a face
massive
that
head.
kind of looked like a German Shepherd or
And she looked like a
something.
German Shepherd. Yes.
It was so weird, but she was a very cool dog. And then the ones that came to mind right away were the dogs that were in the house fire. There were
Yeah.
these people lost their whole like
Mhm.
everything and they didn't know where they were going to be living, and so they very reluctantly gave up two of their dogs, and they said that they were pit bull doodles. And, we didn't really believe them because we don't believe anyone. But then we did DNA on one of them and they were actually pit bull doodles.
Which
So
is
that was crazy.
I think that we have a really interesting looking dog right now in the rescue. Amy's actually her foster, Bebe, is very
Bebe's
interesting.
cool.
She's a
She's
very
listed.
cool looking dog.
Yeah, that is a good one. She's listed as a Chinese crested. That, I don't know, her fur maybe a little bit, but she kind of looks like a Boston. So
She looks
yeah,
like a
she's
Boston to me, like a fuzzy Boston.
yeah,
Yeah.
I personally I mean, the one Gabby is fostering right now, Angie, is kind of
I
a
love
weird
her
looking
too.
dog.
she looks
Yeah,
I like the Mr. Potato Head dogs. I like the weird combos.
I do
I mean,
too.
my own personal dog, Dobby, is weird. she's like 74% Chihuahua, and then I don't know, rat terrier. So I don't know. She's an ugly combination.
Yeah,
And
that's like Matcha. My Matcha,
Yeah.
she's a weird one.
Yeah.
Andy said, where can they see
Chinese.
our adoptable dogs?
What'd you say? What was the question?
Where can we, multiple people ask, where can we see your adoptable dogs?
On our
So
website.
if you, yeah,
Canine.com.
yeah, if you go to Canine Rescue, Canine with a K, which can I just say, I fucking hate that. I did not come up with that name.
It's a cliche.
I hate
Should
like
we
those
change it?
companies like custom cakes and it's K and K. Oh, hate it. So I hate that it's Canine, but it's kind of easy to remember. So caninerescue.com, Canine with a K. And then we're also on Facebook. We post a lot there, and Instagram. And then I share some stuff on TikTok.
We're on.
Oh, I love this. Somebody said, would you consider doing a 2026 calendar of Amy and the rescue staff with your favorite dogs?
Yes.
Yes, we should do
That's
that.
a great idea.
I
I
do
We
love a
would
paper
consider
calendar.
that.
We
would
should get,
love that.
know.
We should do it. That would be
we
so.
should
We
get
should
some-
totally do that. We
and
should
we
get
can
our
all
Guys, I
have
still
them, like,
use a
pitch.
Franklin planner.
I
Like, I'm sorry. It's
Franklin.
You are so young, you have no idea what a Franklin planner is.
We all had them though.
right? I still have mine.
Do you?
And they still make
I
the
think I've
like the
burned
pages.
mine.
You can
No,
still
I'm
get
just
them.
Someone asked feelings on dog breeders.
What did they
So
ask?
feelings on dog
dog
breeders.
Oh
All right,
boy.
I'll kick this one off. I have learned a lot on this rescue journey. When I first came in, I think I was much more like strident and all breeders are bad. And I've actually learned a lot. And a breeder is going to be coming on soon, and I'm looking forward to talking to her. Okay, so there is a very clear difference between backyard breeders and other kinds of breeders. And I think that absolutely needs to be pointed out. I don't think it's fair to say all breeders are terrible. That's not accurate. And there are breeders who are, careful about the number of litters and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have that blanket feeling anymore as I've gotten more educated. So there's definitely a difference. My personal feeling is, this is just my personal feeling, I don't know how to justify making more dogs when there are so many in need right now. That's where I just have a hard time. And like I told the story about being out on a walk the other day, and this really annoying guy had a spaniel, and he was so proud of this dog, like definitely he wanted everyone to ask him, what kind of dog is that?
Hey
It was
girl.
it was a Clumber Spaniel, which I had never heard of. I mean, whatever, it's a cute dog. He kind of started walking with me, which I hated. So I asked him, what made you get that dog? Why a Clumber Spaniel? And he said they're supposed to be very loyal. And I thought, that's a stupid reason, because there's so many great loyal dogs. I have 20 of them right now. So
Right.
And
that kind of thing makes me nuts. Like if you are using a dog for its intended purpose, I feel like I have more understanding of that. But tell me, old guy walking on a public trail, why do you need a Clumber Spaniel? Why? And he's like, oh, well, they're bird hunters. So is your dog bird hunting? No. Well, why do you need that? Like, why did you spend so much money on a dog that you're not using it for? Like, I understand using Malinois and Shepherds for police dogs. Of course, that makes sense to me. But why does this dude need a Clumber Spaniel? So I don't know. I have a more nuanced look at breeders now. I'm not so reactive as I started out being. And I really do admire and respect the people who make rescue a priority. I feel like it is a very different experience than buying a dog. What do you guys think?
I think the same way, but
Yeah.
I feel like some breeders think a lot of rescue dogs are like damaged and stuff, but there's so many that are very loving, don't have any like aggression, and also breeder dogs can have aggression. Like I've seen
Absolutely.
that firsthand with
That's
all.
a really that's a good point, Gabby. And that's one thing that I don't like about what I've seen in the breeder community. And listen, I know that rescue people, we can be insufferable and self-righteous and we have our own issues. I get that. And we're holier than thou and we're so great. I do see a lot of furthering of that false narrative that rescue dogs are damaged. And I hate that because it's just not accurate. Today, for example, I was at the chiropractor's office and this guy saw my sweatshirt. We started talking and he said, I'm looking to get an emotional support animal for my son. And so we started talking about it, and he's like, I think I probably should get like a golden retriever. And I was like, well, why? Like, what made you go there? Also, Emily and I have both had bad experiences with golden retrievers being
Yep.
dicks. Um,
Absolutely. Really
but
bad.
like, what made you think that it had to be that? You know what I mean? Like,
It's a stereo.
there's lots of dogs that could be the dog that Gabby's holding right now. Like there's lots of dogs that could be big emotional support dogs. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, Emily, do you feel that you have like more of a delineation between like backyard breeders and breeders that are trying to be more thoughtful?
I think that the backyard breeders, they really, from my experience, they don't know what they're doing. And you're going to get
Terrible.
all kinds of genetic problems where you're actually not only creating life, but you're creating life that's going to suffer.
Yeah.
And that to me is really hard. In rescue, we see a lot, we're getting the dogs a lot of times that have issues, medical issues where somebody buys a dog and then cannot afford the cost to have a surgical fix to something that was a genetic malformation. And, so that kind of breaks my heart that it's not that they're just creating lives that aren't going to find homes. They're actually creating lives that are born to suffer. And that's kind of
We've
hard.
seen that like with the
We
when the
have.
breeders do like the double merles and stuff and they end up being blind or deaf. I mean,
Or
someone
the
just
cleft
made the
palates that we're dealing
exactly, the
with.
cleft palates with the Frenchies. Someone made the comment that it's all about greed, and I 100% agree with that. With the backyard breeders, it is all about greed, and they will breed whatever is going to sell. It doesn't matter. They're not tied necessarily to one breed. Oh, everyone wants Frenchies? Fuck it, we'll do Frenchies. Oh, you want doodles? We'll do doodles. Like they don't really care, and we end up picking up the pieces a lot. So I think it's understandable that rescues do get frustrated
Right.
with people not doing their research and supporting like the Amish or the backyard breeders, and it just creates more problems. Like I know the ethical breeders, self-described ethical breeders would say, well, our dogs never end up in the shelters, so rescues aren't dealing with them. And I hope that that is true,
Yeah, I
that
just
if
don't
those
know.
dogs, yeah, I just
Yeah,
don't know. That's what
I
we're
just
going
don't
to talk
know.
to this breeder and kind of go over that. She breeds Great Danes. I hope that that's true, that if there's a problem with one of your dogs, that you would take that dog back and it wouldn't end up in the system. But you know what? We had an issue recently where a woman who was considered by the community to be a responsible, ethical breeder, AKC registered, and whatever other breeder things you do, I don't know. But looked good on paper kind of thing. And it turns out that her setup was horrible and the dogs were in filth. So it's like, I don't know. Like
I don't
maybe
know.
I just don't have enough experience with like really quote unquote good breeders. We tend to deal with ones that are terrible.
Yeah. So we have another question here that's, I think, a really good question. What about the ethics of transporting dogs from the South when there's so many dogs in the cities? And I think that's an important question.
Great question.
Yeah.
And I remember when I started in rescue thinking, why the hell are we in Maryland taking dogs from Texas? That made no sense to me whatsoever. Or sometimes you'll see rescues taking dogs from like overseas from other countries. And I just thought that was really weird. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of bringing in dogs like, anyway, I feel like there's enough going on domestically. So I remember being confused by that. I feel strongly that we want to help locally as much as we possibly can, like help in our backyard. And I think we do a pretty good job of that. And I think it's a valid question and concern, like bringing up a lot of dogs from the South. I guess it's hard because we need to have, hang on one second. I have to do something. I have to drag a puzzle piece
To keep going. Make sure you're still there.
to make sure I'm still. Oh, I got to drag another puzzle piece. Jeez.
I think that the other thing
Okay.
too with go ahead, Amy. Go ahead. You can finish your thought.
What the hell was
I've got
I
an
saying?
opinion.
What was I saying?
I
I
don't
don't even know.
I mean, I was going to say that, I understand. I think that the other problem is that in the South, there are not the systems in place. Like we do have a lot of rescues in our area that we can all sort of take from the local populations. And yes, the cities are a problem. It's true.
Yeah.
But we do have, in our area particularly, we do have a lot of rescues. We're not the only one. And in the South, I don't feel like that infrastructure is there.
That's a
And
good point. I
so,
mean, we have more fosters, more resources. Also, we need to be honest, like a lot of our local shelters have a ton of pit bulls and pit mixes, and we do absolutely help as many as we can. So we're in Montgomery County, Maryland. Our neighboring county, Prince George's County, has a pit bull ban, which has created all kinds of problems. So we are flooded with a ton of pit bulls and mixes. We can help some. We can't do only pit mixes because not everybody wants that kind of dog. Some people want a smaller dog or they want a, certain look, whatever. So we try to give people a number of different kinds of dogs to sort of pick from so that we can hopefully help people not go and buy one. So, you know what I mean? So we're trying to get a lot of different kinds of dogs so that we can get more people rescuing. And sometimes in our area, there's not as much variety, if that makes sense, because there are so many pits. Again, not saying we don't help them. It's just like we can't have only pits because not everybody wants one. That's just a reality.
And, you have to get dogs adopted, and care is very expensive. I don't think people realize how expensive in our area the care is. And
oh my God, so expensive. And appointments are hard to find. Someone made that comment. Like, it's hard to get appointments.
Yeah, we
rescues
did
run
just have
off of donations and adoption fees. Like if we don't get dogs adopted, we can't afford to help more dogs.
Yeah.
We can't afford to have dogs sit for
Right.
endless amounts of time.
Right. So, we are at an hour. I just wanted to let everybody know.
Well, that's exciting. Why don't we do this? Let's wrap up this episode, but let's stay on the live and keep going.
Yeah, so we'll do the next episode. Sounds good.
This is super fun. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on this episode of Sit, Stay, Rant, where we're unleashing the real mess behind rescue. We will be back for a second episode shortly.